Yeah, definitely rock.
Yeah. What else?
Maybe folk or something.
Yeah, I guess.
Folk.
Alternative?
Eh. Alternative rock, I think, is not what they're expecting here. I mean, this is a bunch of old heads, so there's
Yeah.
about as unalternative as possible.
Um, Pop? Probably.
Yeah.
It's definitely poppy. Although these tags have saying comparing 80s pop music to current pop music is they're two different genres, honestly. Pop is such a weird genre where it's whatever's popular at the time.
Yeah, that could
Okay.
mean anything depending on when it came out.
Yeah. Oh, so you said you're having some spores?
Yes, we had a little fire going on in the back.
Yes.
Yes. I hope you're ready for an what's the term? Unforgettable luncheon.
Superintendent.
Hmm. Hmm. Despite the fact that they are clearly grilled.
Excuse me for one moment.
It's a New Albany expression.
I don't know if you can hear that. I'm just filling my water bottle up.
I can hear it. Sounds like you're ripping a fat bong.
No, it's the water bottle I used to use when I was in marching band, and it holds. I don't know how much it holds. It probably holds over a gallon. Hold on, it actually probably says on the bottom. Nope. Of course it doesn't. Why would it?
Okay, one sec, man. Before we go live, drink some water.
Yeah, but I've been filling it up and keeping it by my desk with some ice in it, so I don't have to get up and go to the fridge.
Ooh.
Because I'm lazy. But I actually have to get up a lot more now because I pee like twice as much. So I'm actually getting up more than if I had to get up to get water. But it's probably better for me anyway. I'm staying very hydrated.
That's good.
Very hydrated.
That's what one has to do.
Mm-hmm. It's so convenient.
To sit down and have unlimited water.
Huh?
I think, you know how we were talking about what we do if we had just like a bunch of money?
Mm-hmm.
I think next to my rig I'd install like one of those giant hamster water feeders.
I like the idea, but I feel like that would hurt your tongue.
You think?
Yeah, because you got the way you get water out of those is you push the little ball bearing out of the way with your tongue.
Maybe I could like redesign it so it's like a hand squeeze or something.
I would think I would just have I would get a specially designed water bottle.
Yeah.
So like all you have to do is like shove the little spigot into the special hole in the water bottle and it fills up.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And then when the water, like when it can't overfill, and then you can just pull it off and then use the normal drinking spigot as well.
Ooh, that'd be nice. So convenient. So I never have to stand up.
But I would get up even more to pee then.
I guess, yeah, that would make you look up or get up a lot. Well, stretching the legs at least.
Yeah.
Oh man, did you see that trailer for the new Suicide Squad movie?
No, I didn't. Is it just as awful as the last one?
It's being directed by James Gunn, and I've liked his other works.
True.
But it's got an insane number of characters headlining on it.
Oh, is this going to be like the fucking... What was it? Was it the third Amazing Spider-Man, or was it the second that had 3 villains?
No, it was the third one. that was Goblin, Venom, and Sandman.
Don't forget about Rhino right at the very end.
No. That was the Amazing Spider-Man, because that was an Andrew Garfield. I remember because
sorry, that's what I was talking about. Did I not say the Amazing Spider-Man? I thought I said the Amazing Spider-Man.
I thought you said the third Spider-Man.
Yeah, I said I like that Amazing Spider-Man movie that had the shit ton of villains.
Yeah, no, this one, the headliners here. I'll just So you got Margot Robbie coming back
Mhm.
as Harley Quinn, obviously.
Of course.
Idris Elba's in this movie. He's playing Bloodsport. I don't even know who that is.
Probably another sharpshooter if I had to take a shot in the dark.
John Cena's in this movie. He's playing
What?
the Peacemaker.
Okay. I
um,
mean, John
the
Cena
guy,
was in Surf's Up 2, so don't take that as any.
the character is described as like douchey Captain America.
So
The guy who played
Homelander. Well,
yeah, basically,
Homelander's douchey Superman. He's
yeah.
murderous Superman.
This is douchey Captain America.
Okay.
Then Rick Flag is back. Remember Rick Flag?
Nope.
This is Katana.
Oh, I only know that quote. That's all I know.
Yeah, his character is non-existent. The guy who played Captain Boomerang is coming back.
Just a clarifier. I never actually saw Suicide Squad.
Oh, well, those are the only three returning.
Okay.
Then Peter Capaldi,
Nope.
the guy who played Doctor Who. He's coming in as the Thinker.
Wait, Doctor Who? No.
Yeah, the old man Doctor Who, like the newer one.
I think I can see his face.
Yeah.
I'm better with faces than names.
Pete Davidson's in this movie.
Remind me who that is. The
SNL.
name rings a bell.
The young guy from SNL.
That's not helping. Oh, yeah, the one that dated Ariana Grande, right?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He's playing Blackguard. I also don't know who that is. Got another guy playing Polka Dot Man.
Okay.
Michael Rooker, who I think is like he's fairly famous actually. I recognize him. He's playing Savant. I don't know who that is. Nathan Fillion, you know him, right? Is playing
Wait,
Arm.
hold on. Hold on.
What?
Why is he in this movie?
What, Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's an actor. They probably paid him. But he's playing Arm Fall Off Boy.
Okay. So they cast him in an appropriate role.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Am I thinking? Let me type this in. Let me make sure I'm thinking of the right Nathan.
Yeah, he's the guy who was from.
Oh, never mind. I
Firefly.
was thinking of fuck. What's his name? That guy we watched at Pratique's.
What, Nathan for You?
Yes, Nathan Fielder. That's who I was thinking of.
That would be amazing. No, it's Nathan.
That's
Fillion.
why I was confused. I was thinking of him.
No, but he's Arm Fall Off Boy.
Okay, I don't care.
And they also still have Ratcatcher 2. They have King Shark. They have Weasel. They have the Javelin.
I mean, I
Mongol.
don't know any of these DC characters.
I don't either. They're like C list and D list characters. There's so many of them.
I mean, you never know. To be fair, Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't exactly big before the movies.
I was reading a theory that they're probably going to kill off like half of them in the first 10 minutes as like one big joke. Because there's like 15 of them.
I mean, Arm Fall Off guy definitely sounds like he's gonna die.
Yeah, I'll look up him. Just his power can't just be that his arms fall off, right?
I bet it is. I bet it's based on a fucking lizard or something.
Arm Fall Off Boy powers can remove his limbs and use his clubs.
Yep.
Okay. Well, there we go. Well, it can't be worse than the first one.
No, it cannot. This is Katana. She's got my back.
She's got my back.
I
advise you don't get on her bad side. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
That's the only quote I know because we just say it all the time because it's so terrible.
It's a funny quote. I also like saying, this is Slipknot, the man who can climb anything.
Does he just use like a grappling hook or something?
No, he just carries ropes.
Oh, okay. Even worse than just a grappling hook, just ropes.
He dies immediately in the first one.
Probably. Oh, does he?
Yeah, spoilers.
I mean, it's not like anybody. I'm not going to go see it, and I doubt the two people, one of which is me, watching right now, is going to go see it. It was bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you want to get going?
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Audio Shop Podcast. This week, we're talking about the Travelling Wilburys, Volume 1 by the Travelling Wilburys.
Makes sense, and this is their first album, so I say that's an apt name.
So I got the history this week since I was listening to this album pretty heavily before Cooper suggested we do it.
It's quite that chunky history, too.
Yeah, well, it's because if you don't know who the Travelling Wilburys are, it is George Harrison of Beatles fame, Jeff Lynne of ELO fame, Tom Petty
of Tom Petty fame,
Bob Dylan for some reason, and Roy Orbison, who was a famous kind of country singer, old country, like before it became pop country.
From like the 60s.
Yeah. The band got its start in 1988, but I gotta go over the history first.
Of this super group.
Yeah, because there's a lot of big names in this. So Jeff Lynne worked with George Harrison on Harrison's Cloud 9 album. And while they were working on that, Harrison wanted to form a band, because the Beatles wasn't enough for him.
I mean, at this point, I guess it'd been like 15 years about since the Beatles broke
fair
up.
Enough. So Harrison picked Bob Dylan for some reason, and Jeff Lynne picked Roy Orbison. Tom Petty got involved when his band, the Heartbreakers, was backing on Bob Dylan's tour. The name of the band came from Lynne and Harrison working on Cloud 9. When Harrison said the errors caused, he said they will bury them in the mix from the equipment errors. So that's where the name came from. And I just put bullet points for the rest of this history because the way they interlinked, because that's kind of like how that's a very rough history, but then like they became like best friends. So Harrison bonded with Petty because they both loved 1950s rock and roll. Okay. Lynne collaborated with Petty on Petty's debut album, Full Moon Fever. Lynne started writing music with Roy Orbison, who is his musical hero, for Orbison's comeback album, Mystery Girl. And then they all bonded over their shared love of Monty Python and Orbison's impersonation ability, as well as his ability to recite entire sketches.
That's cute. That's really cute.
So, I mean, you remember being in middle school and you would just repeat quotes to your friends over and over again. That's what the world was like before the internet.
They did.
And
how does Bob Dylan work into this?
I'll get it. There's a big chunk. The reason this is so long is because I ripped a lot straight from the wiki because there's no way I can make it any more concise because it's just saying everyone's name over and over again. So the last little bit before I read a big, huge wiki paragraph is according to Petty, Harrison's dreams for the Wilburys was to handpick the participants and create the perfect little band. But the criteria for inclusion were governed most by who you could hang out with.
So just boys being boys.
Exactly. So getting a little bit deeper into the history, Harrison and Lynne were charged by the Warner Brothers Music Group to come up with a new B-side track for Harrison's European release of his third single from Cloud 9, This Is Love. During a meal with Lynne and Roy Orbison, Harrison asked Lynne to help him record the track and invited Orbison to attend the session, which he then arranged to take place at Dylan's garage studio in Malibu, since no professional studios were available at such short notice. Petty's involvement came about when Harrison went to retrieve his guitar from Petty's house and invited him to attend also. Working on a song that Harrison had recently started writing, the ensemble completed the track, which they titled Handle with Care, after a label on a box in Dylan's garage. When Harrison presented the recording to some fuckers at Warner Brothers, the executives insisted that the song was too good to be used on the B-side. In Petty's recollection, Harrison and Lynne then decided to release their idea of forming a Wilburys band, and first invited him to join before phoning Dylan, who also agreed to join. That night, Harrison, Lynn, and Petty drove to Anaheim to see Orbison perform at the Celebrity Theater and recruit him for the group shortly before he went on stage. In Petty's description, Orbison performed an unbelievable show during which we'd punch each other and go, "He's in our band too." We were all so excited. So it was basically just a bunch of friends making a garage band, but they're the biggest names in music. Yeah.
Well, I guess when you're that famous, right? The only one you can like stand on like the same level as is other famous people like that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the reason a lot of these songs are kind of, they're not studio quality, I would say. They're good, but it definitely has that more friends in the garage making music kind of
casual
sound.
feel. Yeah.
But yeah, and the thing I didn't pull is they all had nicknames.
You did tell me that.
Let me pull this back up because I completely forgot to do that part because it's just it's stupid. So in Volume 1, which is this one, they changed their nicknames for the second album, of course. But for Volume 1, George Harrison's nickname was Nelson Wilbury. Jeff Lynne was Otis Wilbury. Roy Orbison was Lefty Wilbury. Tom Petty was Charlie T. Wilbury Jr., and Bob Dylan was Lucky Wilbury, as in it's lucky that he ever got a music career in the first place. That's not what it means, but I'm just going to continuously rip on Bob Dylan for this entire album.
Oh, I will too.
But yeah, that's the history. It's a long one.
That's a cute little thing.
And there is a shit ton more. The wiki is for the amount of information in the wiki, it is probably written as concisely as you can convey all that information.
I mean, there's a bit of backstory for it, honestly.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's just like, oh yeah, my guitar was at Tom Petty's house, so I had to go get it. Why was your guitar there, George?
He's just letting him borrow it,
I guess. Anyway, jumping into the first track then with track number 1, Handle with Care.
Handle with Care. And I also just keep track personally. I wrote down who was the particular vocals for that one.
Oh, I did that as well.
So just because it made it a little more convenient to keep track of who was singing what. So this one's mostly George Harrison with the vocals.
With
accompanied by
Orbison on the chorus, yeah.
Yes.
Which is sorry, go ahead.
It's pretty obvious when Orbison comes in.
Yeah. I mean, most of the voices are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But George Harrison's voice is great. You know, he was a Beatle, so he's got a great singing voice. Into the first chorus is a little bit rocky because Bob Dylan is singing, and singing is generous for what Bob Dylan does.
It's definitely words being said.
There's something coming out of his mouth, that's for sure. But thankfully, they didn't let him sing in the chorus for the rest of the song. So it gets better. I really like Orbison's second chorus. And Orbison and Harrison, I feel like Orbison is just a good overall mix-up for the album. Because he's got such a different style than the more contemporary singers on the rest of the album.
Yeah, even by their standards, Orbison's a bit of an older player, obviously, because the height of his career is basically like the 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's why Lynn sees him as such a hero, because he literally grew up on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just provides such good breakup. I will say the backing track on this is kind of bland. It doesn't really ever change. The focus, I mean, with this many singers in the group, obviously the focus is going to be completely on the vocal track. But I would have liked to see a little bit more effort go into the backing track on this one. The harmonica at the end is nice, but that's kind of it. There's not really any other evolution to it.
Yeah, and that's a thing that I've seen kind of with a lot of the songs on this album. Songs don't really progress per se. It's not true for all of them, but there's definitely a theme of them kind of sticking with a sound and then being like, oh, that's nice. And then they just kind of carry it from there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's a nice little thing. And like I said before, the title for this song came from a moving box in Bob Dylan's garage.
So just, I mean, that makes sense. It is handled with care.
Yeah, it's just what you write on a box. Moving on to track number 2, if you're ready.
Sorry.
Cooper?
Lost it there for a sec. Yeah, no. I am, well, I do want to say before we leave, that, I like the little harmonica at the end. I don't know who played that, but I just want to get in that it's, very nice.
Yeah, I bet it was Orbson, if I had to take a shot in the dark.
He the harmonica player of the group?
I bet. I can look it up. But moving on to track number 2.
Number 2.
Dirty World.
Dirty World.
Which is sung in quotations, Bob Dylan.
Right, Bob Dylan. This is a Bob Dylan song through and through.
Yeah.
Though it's got the backing vocals from basically all of them. Orbson, Harrison, Lynn, Petty. But it's Dylan front and center.
Yeah, very, very center. He is not a good singer. His voice works for this one because of the heavy innuendo from how gruff it is. Like, you can't have Tom Petty singing this. You can't have Jeff Lynne or George Harrison, the British guys, singing this. Roy Orbison probably didn't want to sing it. So that's really, you're left with Dylan. And the gruffness works, but he's not good. He's really not good.
It's a very distinct vocal style. I don't know how to describe it. It's like kind of sing-songy talking.
Baby. That's it. That's how he sings.
I mean, there's a cute little part like the 35-second mark where they all go, oh, they all like sing in unison. That's kind of cute.
Well, yeah, it's nice when they're all in, but when it's just Dylan, it's too much. Not good. And again, with the backing track on this one, they have a keyboard saxophone in the background, which is really kind of jarring compared to there's a really nice acoustic guitar kind of sprinkled over the top, and then they've got this bwah, bwah, bwah keyboard saxophone.
Yeah, the brass kind of cuts. I mean, I think it's a nice little inclusion in terms of like adding some energy and variety to the song. It probably would have been nicer if it was like, live brass instrumentation. But
see, to me, it sounded more like they were going for a saxophone sound, but brass makes sense as well. That's how electronic it is.
Yeah. Oh, I thought they were going for more like a trumpet thing. But yeah, it's kind of like this kind of intermediate, like
halfway
brassy
between
sound
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing none of them played the trumpet, so they just had someone playing the keyboard for it.
Yeah, well, yeah. They are. I'm sure most of them play the keyboard. And then at 1:55, Bob Dylan's just moaning, saying, "Oh, baby." Except he's not in time at all, so it's just a really awkward moan.
What's the opposite of an aphrodisiac?
Dust.
Yeah, Bob Dylan. And he also has this weird part where throughout the song where they it's kind of interesting where like everyone else goes, he loves you, and then Bob Dylan lists some random thing. It's like, because you have a refrigerator.
No, that's actually everyone but Bob Dylan there at the end, pretty much. So Harrison has a couple of lines. Petty has Petty's like bottled water because he has a really weird voice as well. Roy Orbison says big refrigerator. And the one thing I like is that, it's ridiculous. They're all just random words, but in the innuendo context, they sound really bad. Like Jeff Lynne says, Trembling Wilburys, and it sounds awful because he loves your Trembling Wilburys. They're like, oh, that sounds disgusting, but that's actually just the original name of the band.
I'm glad they changed it to Traveling.
Yeah.
Me Trembling Wilburys.
But I mean, as a name of a band, you're like, oh, that's all right. But in this context, you're like, that sounds disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's more innocent than they're meant for it to sound.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say the fade out to come back in and say the name of the song was kind of dumb. I didn't think it needed that.
So they could just say "Dirty World."
Yeah, a couple of times, and then end the song for real. Didn't really need that, but oh well. That's what we got.
We can move on to track number 3 then. Prattled. Which is a Lynn-led song.
Mm-hmm. But if you can tell, it is very old country style, which
yes,
Orbison wrote it and Lynn sang it, which makes sense because Lynn was all about anything Orbison was about.
Yes, it feels very distinctly. It's got that country vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like a noticeable like standing bass line going on in the back.
Yeah, the upright bass is really good.
Which
and that
really
sounds like a real
that.
upright bass too.
Yeah, that one sounds like live performance. I don't know who played that. Maybe Orbison?
I don't know.
But yeah, it's got this kind of very distinctly throwback, like kind of rock and hoedown type thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't have that much meat on the bones. There was that electric guitar that came in halfway through, which helps to spice things up because it's extremely different than anything going on. But the vocal line and backing track are kind of stagnant. Vocal line a bit more so. It's all right. It's kind of there.
Yeah, the instrumentation kind of stays very consistent throughout this song.
And there's not even that much going on in the vocals either.
Yeah, I mean, it makes up for it a little bit with like the kind of plingy piano going on in the back.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a little bit of a guitar solo thing at like 225. I mean, it's not really a solo so much. It's just like kind of there without vocals.
Yeah,
but it's just a couple things in the instrumentation.
Yeah, it's different style, which is good. Add some spice to the album. But in of itself, it's just kind of, yeah, it's, I won't skip it. It's a good song.
It's a song. It
yeah.
definitely has music.
I won't skip it like another certain song on this album.
Oh.
We'll get to that later, though. Jumping to track number 4, then. Last
Track
Night.
number 4. Last Night.
Which is Petty-led song.
The Petty-led song with Orbison doing some backing vocals.
And it is the beat is super repetitive, and the chorus repeats like every 2 lines, but holy crap, I don't know what it is about this one, but it gets stuck in your head.
Like, I'd say in a bad way.
Really, I really like this song.
Yeah, it's like hypnotic, because like the verses are so short and then the chorus is so short. It's like keeps ping pong between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And they switched the chorus from talking about last night to thinking about last night.
Oh, wow. Song progression.
I mean, the chorus is last night, talking about last night. That's the chorus. That's it.
I do like, yeah, there's basically nothing to it vocally or like lyrically. I do like the part at 120 when I'm pretty sure Orbison comes in and it takes like this kind of slightly darker tone and they all go, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of this song. Also, I think Orbison's vocals work really well with it.
Yeah, again, his juxtaposition to anyone else is always so great because he's the perfect, kind of antithesis or antithesis, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, he has a more matured voice.
Yeah. And again, in the backing track, they had, to me, it sounded like they were going for a saxophone and they had a fake one.
It's definitely a keyboard saxophone.
Yeah. But we should talk a little bit about the plot of the song. Okay,
so I didn't look up the lyrics. Well, I did write down. There's like some part where
I know the lyrics. I've listened to the song too many times. I can tell you what it says.
I do distinctly remember the part where Petty asks somebody to marry her, and she pulls a knife on him.
Yeah,
which is a hilarious lyric.
So basically, the plot of the song is Petty and Orbison are playing the same character. So I just imagine the collective band is this character. So they play, or I'll just say he in place of the whole band. He plays at a bar. He notices a pretty lady. She likes his guitar. They obviously go have sex. And then he asks her to marry him. And then she pulls out a knife and says, "Your money or your life." And then it cuts to him at the bar having a drink because he didn't have any money. All he had is a song. Even though the band is made up of the 3 biggest names in music at the time.
Well, that's why it's a story.
Yeah, but I just found it funny that the I mean, everybody could probably name, except for Orbison at this point, but all the rest of the names in this band you'd probably recognize. It was just funny to me that they were writing a song about being flat out broke when none of them had probably been flat out broke for quite a while. Although Bob Dylan was struggling at the time because, he's Bob Dylan. And people realized, hey, wait a second, this isn't music.
People like him now.
Did you listen to a 17-minute long song about the
a lot of people
assassination?
Did. A lot of people did.
And they liked it?
They talked about it.
That's not the same. Not the same, Cooper. A lot of people talk about a lot of things. Doesn't mean they like it.
I don't know. People have talked about it.
Anyway.
But yeah, enough with that Margaritaville last song. Let's move on to track number 5.
Hey, don't you go comparing it to Margaritaville. This is actually a good song.
We'll move on to track number 5. Not Alone Anymore.
Not Alone Anymore.
Which is like the flip side of Rattled, because this is a Orbison sung song, but it's written by Jeff Lynne.
I'm glad you picked up on that, because this is the most heavily Jeff Lynne song I've ever heard in my life.
This is the most distinctly ELO song ever.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's got Roy Orbison's vocal stylings over it.
Well, you say that, but I can very easily hear Jeff Lynne singing this because it...
Oh, no. I mean, I could definitely hear it, but it's interesting hearing someone else sing over a Jeff Lynne type style song.
Yeah. Because this definitely sounds like some of his more recent things where he, because I'll just talk about this now. Roy Orbison and Jeff Lynne had been planning to work together quite a bit after this album. But Roy suffered a heart attack, I think in same year, 1988, I believe, or it was either 88 or 89, and passed away. And Jeff Lynne was gutted because he was so looking forward to working with Roy Orbison. And then so you can hear in a lot of his later music, like Alone in the Universe, it's very Sad Boy Hours because it's inspired by Roy Orbison, who was kind of built up that persona as a sad boy country singer, and probably helped push the my wife left me, my truck left me kind of thing in pop country music, but kind of in a different extent.
Yeah, no, you can tell Lynne has a lot of respect for Orbison. And I think he writes a pretty good song for him, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly this isn't, with a Jeff Lynne style song, it's not quite what Orbison's usually used to, just from what I've seen, but it works pretty well. It kind of carries this sort of sadness and weight while still having kind of a chipper ELO background.
Yeah.
And I like those descending strings that pop in every now and then, too.
Yeah, and that actually, it's clearly synthesizer, but it works because it's not trying to do what strings can actually do. It's kind of twirling around.
Yeah, it kind of gives it more like a green tambourine type vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's an appropriate use of a synthesizer instrument, is when you do things that the normal instrument can't do. Because this sounds like a spin down, I want to say. Like it's rolling down a spiral staircase.
Yeah, I think it's neat.
I just think they're neat. And man, Orbison's voice there at the very end, that's crazy.
Yeah,
very strong.
He was belting that.
Yeah.
Orbison's definitely one of my. I like it when he has a song on this album.
Yeah, and thankfully he's on this album quite a bit.
Yeah, he doesn't lead as many songs. I mean, it's basically just this one, right?
Yeah, just
like
this one. But he's the second fiddle on quite a few.
Yeah, he does a lot of backing, which is nice.
Now jumping on to another artist who sadly sings a lot on this album.
Track number 6.
Track number 6. Congratulations.
It's all Dylan all the time, baby.
This is a really bad song, Cooper.
Yeah.
This is a really bad song.
No, I agree. It's such a slow song. And not like slow and like a sad, like thoughtful song.
Yeah.
It's like a plodding song.
You know who'd have been a better singer on this? Anyone else, but mainly Tom Petty. Tom Petty could have knocked this one out of the park.
Yeah, it feels like Tom Petty could do that. Also, this one doesn't really have like much of a story.
No, there's just nothing going on.
There's no story. They just say congratulations a lot, and the instrumentation's like just there. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it's adequate. It is an instrumentation.
I mean, there's a nice little bit of guitar work at the end, but other than that, that's it.
Like a little guitar work, some synth bops in at like a 145.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just, the focus is right on Dylan's voice.
Breaking my heart.
Bobby puts it all in, but
Yeah,
and still not a fan of him. This album did not change my opinion on Bob Dylan.
it did not. I will say, there's one song where I think no one else could have done it. Not talking about Dirty World. Dirty World is just kind of eh. But yeah, this one's bad. That fade out, the fade out at the end though, that was amazing. I wish they had saved that for a better song. With that little guitar lick and the choir in the background
Oh,
on
yeah,
the fade
yeah.
out, I'm like, that is the perfect fade out for a song. It's just on the worst song.
Yeah, it's very heavenly.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's attached to this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really save it in the last 30 seconds.
No, you cannot. That's all I had for this one. You want to move on off this train wreck?
Yeah. Let's move on to a song that I think is much better.
Yes.
Track number 7, "Heading for the Light."
Heading for
This
the
is
Light.
this is probably the best combination, Harrison with Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Harrison's vocals.
Yes, I do too.
They have this very upbeat, like brightness and smoothness to them, like an actual singer.
Yeah.
And this song is like a very smooth and infectious energy going to it.
It does. And I am blown away by how good the chorus of Lynn and Harrison singing together sounds.
Ooh, chef's kiss.
It makes me really... I think I have to go listen to Cloud 9 now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that sounds like too.
Because Lynn worked with... Lynn was backing vocals for Cloud 9. So if it's got more stuff like this... I'm interested to hear it.
Yeah, vocally they pair very well,
Mm-hmm.
and the instrumentation on the song just like very fun. Got some glittery guitar work. It's got a little more pace to it.
Yeah, and then the real saxophone comes in for a saxophone solo.
Oh yeah, 120. There's like an actual sax solo,
and it sounds fantastic in context of the song.
It gives me like big like sitcom intro feels on that sax solo. And I love it.
Yeah. I didn't feel that, but I definitely feel it now.
Got like the Full House swoop.
Yeah. And then there's kind of the mix up that I like where what the chorus is flips, because initially there's Harrison singing and then the Lynn Harrison chorus in quotations, but then it flips where the Harrison section is actually the chorus, and then the Lynn Harrison section is the continuation of the story, so to say, and then it flips back again. I kind of like that mix up.
Yeah, no, this one just has a probably the best chorus on the album.
Yeah,
I'd say, in terms of just sounding good. Yeah, this one just has good melodies all around.
And then there's the real sax.
You don't have to add this like a little asterisk of like.
Yeah.
I mean, but the storytelling.
Yeah.
It just sounds good.
There was real sax on the outro too, which was fantastic. The sax throughout was great. I will say, there was at one point before the outro where they use a little bit of that keyboard sax again, and it sounds extra bad next to the real thing. I wish they had just gone all the way through with the real saxophone. It was just like one little section where it sounded, maybe it was just the mixing or something that they did, but it sounded like a keyboard sax. And then the real sax came back in later. But other than that, this is a great song.
No, it is.
It's
got a great little outro too.
Yeah. Jumping to track number 8 then, if you're ready.
Track number 8.
Speaking of Margaritaville, Margarita.
This one's another Dylan-led song with Hetty and Lynn in backing vocals.
So I want you to tell me what you thought of the intro, because I have a very specific vibe I get before the singing kicks off.
You mean like the synthy intro that goes on?
Well, I'm talking about up to the singing. Because it's got that EDM intro, but then there's this little section in the middle.
You mean the dun 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 dun?
No, before that.
Uh,
So I don't know if
oh,
you picked up on it. Next time you listen to it, it's got the EDM kind of synth at the start, right?
yeah,
But
you know.
then that fades away and it's replaced by acoustic guitars and drums. I got very strong ABBA vibes from that
Oh,
before the
I,
singing kicks off.
honestly, I can see that.
And then it gets a weird country tension.
Yeah, no, I kind of wish it went on the ABBA trail
Yeah.
because it was kind of interesting sound that we haven't really heard on this album so far.
The country twin, the twinge is good. And then Dylan comes in and then it's not. Um,
It's got a very distinct guitar line.
yeah.
It's like this. I don't know, like maybe distorted. Like it's like
I think
like
that's just, I don't think that's super distortion. It's probably just a pedal.
yeah, or a pedal or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, I do like it all the way up until Dylan comes in. Honestly, I wish this was like an instrumental break. Uh,
Because there's not much. Dylan's only in it for a little bit, thankfully, but it kind of kills it. Because after Dylan, there's a little bit of synth saxophone, which doesn't. It sounds better than any other place the synth sax has been used on the album. And then there's that little vocal lick at 220, where it's like this super choir of voices, and it gives me flashbacks to Jungle from Electric Light Orchestra. It's that little section is so good it makes you forget about Bob Dylan singing in quotations beforehand, and then Tom
yeah,
Petty comes in and
honestly, I wish they had just gotten rid of all the vocals except for like the winga winga,
yeah,
winga honga winga wing wing. Just kept that one little section, and that would have been
yeah,
great. Just nonsense words.
it's kind of a jumble. There's not really any theme going on here.
But I honestly think it makes it pretty interesting.
Yeah,
It's definitely the most like the most like kind of head scratcher on the entire album.
but I
But
definitely agree
kinda,
that they should have dropped all the vocals, even Tom Petty's stuff. They should have just dropped it all and left it mainly instrumental, except for that chorus section.
yeah, the instrumental is definitely the most interesting part on this. It's kind of a little off kilter, a little like out there, but I like it.
Yeah, it's good. And then jumping to what I believe is Cooper's favorite song.
Track number 9.
Track number 9.
Tweeter and the Monkey Man.
Tweeter and the Monkey Man.
Long live Bobby D. Here he comes with his 5.5 minute song about a drug dealer named Monkey Man.
I like to think Bob Dylan is the Monkey Man.
He's the Monkey Man in my heart. Yeah. So this is the Bob Dylan's big singer songwriter song.
Yep. It's a 5-minute story about the Monkey Man, Tweeter and Jan, and
The undercover cop.
yeah, they don't give a name.
I mean, I will say Dylan's voice maybe grows on me like a little bit on this one.
No one else could have sang this song.
Because like
that's for sure.
It's such a story based song.
Yeah.
That his kind of sing talking works, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's telling a story.
It's not great. It's okay.
There's no song progression on this one. Mm-mm. Like literally zero. It's a verse. The chorus catches in. The chorus is a little catchy.
I like the chorus.
I like the chorus, but like the verses and choruses, like they switch back and forth like 5 times on this song, and like they don't change at all. Besides the lyrics, obviously.
The Monkey Man.
The Monkey Man. I'll never forget that Monkey Man.
Listening to this makes me question why we associate Bob Dylan with that voice that we do. You know, Bob Dylan. Why do we associate it with that? Is that early Bob Dylan?
That's younger Bob Dylan.
That's what we're thinking of, because this sounds nothing like that. I mean, it's still bad.
You know, this one's a little more crappy. It's a little less sing-song, a little deeper. Yeah, no, that's Rolling Stone Bob Dylan. Like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care for the song.
No.
It's long and I guess the story is like a little interesting about like this drug dealer that's like running from the law.
And for some reason, the undercover cop's sister loves him and then kills the undercover cop.
Yeah, but like it's nothing like groundbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about George Harrison could not have sung this song. Jeff Lynne could not have sung. I mean, they can sing it, but it wouldn't sound good. Tom Petty maybe could have done it. Roy Orbison definitely couldn't. It fits Bob Dylan. That doesn't make it a good song. it's just
Yeah, it's a Bob Dylan. I mean, I guess if you like Bob Dylan, you'll like this song.
yeah,
Uh, it's a Bob Dylan song through and through.
yeah.
I'm just not a fan of that styling, but
Mm-mm.
sure some people are. He
Yeah.
sold a lot. #1 rock song of the century, like Rolling Stone, right, Sam? As voted for by Rolling Stone.
By Rolling Stone magazine.
Huh.
Jumping to the final track on the album, then, if you're ready, Coop. Or you want to talk about the Monkey Man some more?
No, I'm done with the Monkey Man.
End of the Line.
Starring Harrison and Lynn with Orbison and Petty.
Yeah.
So I guess Dylan took
everyone but Dylan. So it's a good song. It's got a really good guitar lick at the start before kicking off to a kind of old country inspired backing track.
Yeah, but with Harrison's lead vocals, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he doesn't do a lot of country,
No.
but it works. His vocal stylings work on this song.
Yeah, and it jumps all over the place because we start with Harrison, and then Petty does the chorus on this one. So it's Harrison, Petty, Lynn, Petty, Orbison, Petty, Harrison, Lynn, Harrison. So we're jumping all over the track here. It very much feels like the final, the credits are rolling in the movie theater.
Yeah, it's literally called End of the Line.
Yeah.
I think it was their second single on this album too.
I believe so. Yeah.
I
think it's their most popular on Spotify. It's their most popular song. Let me double check.
Yeah, it is. That and Handle with Care. They're two singles, obviously.
Yeah, End of the Line, Handle with Care. For some reason, number 3 is Tweeter and the Monkey Man.
Whatever.
Surprisingly, Heading for the Light is not on that list, which I find shocking.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's a shame.
Anyway.
I guess it wasn't a single, but still.
Yeah.
There's a part at the beginning of the song where you're like singing a lyric and they'll say it's all right in between each one. There's a part where it goes, it's all right, I'm doing the best I can. And my mind immediately filled it in with something Monkey Man. I'm like, Dylan's gotten his fingers in me.
Yeah. I really like the chorus, as I said before, because the Petty changes the words every time, but the melody stays the same. So it gives it a bit more variation, because what's not the chorus is them just saying it's all right and then saying something in that kind of pentameter, whatever the fuck you say. And it feels kind of corny with everyone having a solo section, but it's a fun song, I think.
Honestly, it feels earned at the end of this album, right? But beyond that, it's a head bob, nice little ditty.
Yeah, it's a fun song.
I think it's an appropriate ending. Everyone kind of gets their little feature.
Mm-hmm. Except for Dylan, he doesn't.
Okay, he had a whole 5.5-minute song earlier. He had enough.
He doesn't need any space in this. He's already sung too much.
Mom says it's my turn on the album. That's
the end of the album.
That's the album. End of the line.
So, what do you think, Cooper? Let's start with least favorite. What's your least favorite song?
Which one of the Dylan songs do I not like the best? I mean, Dirty
I know
World's
which one
fine.
I like the least.
Dirty World's honestly fine as a Dylan song. It was all right. And Monkey Man's a bit long in the tooth, but at least it tells like a story. So it'll probably have to be Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like nothing interesting happening instrumental wise or lyrically, all led by Dylan's vocals, is not a winning combination in my opinion. It's so boring.
Song. I'm in a complete agreement. What about your favorite? What's your favorite song?
Favorite, probably not surprisingly, is Heading for the Light. I mean, Harrison with Jeff Lynne, great instrumentation, good vocals. It's a happy song going on. That's kind of Heading for the Light's everything kind of wanted out of this supergroup going into it. What about you, Sam?
I'm in agreement. We're lockstep on this one.
Oh, there we go.
There was a period of time at work last week where I was setting something up, and I was humming Heading for the Light in my head for probably about 45 minutes straight. It's stuck in my ear. It's a great song. It just puts you in a good mood too. It's head bobby. It gets you going. You're like, all right, yeah, heading for the light. Even though he's probably dying, is what it is. But you're like, yeah, this is this is upbeat. It's probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. So moving on to the rating. What do you want to do this week, Cooper? Do you want to do the rating? Do you want me to do the rating? I forget who did it last time.
I'll do the rating. I think you did it last time.
Okay.
So just so you guys know, since we're a car themed podcast, we just mentioned it every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's very crucial to our identity that we use a car themed rating system.
Cooper's watched Cars 2 73 times this past week alone.
Yeah, and most of them consecutive. It's detrimental to my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's like a 1 to 5 setting. Basically, with showroom being, the tip top. This is the cream of the crop. This is, you'll recommend it to everyone, even people that are, don't like music. If those people exist, they're like, this will convert you. Then all the way down at the bottom, you have the scrapyard. This is stuff that actively harms your soul and or ears, and that you just are tired of before you even start listening to it. And then we'll give it like maybe a high or a low, depending on if we want some wiggle room. But yeah, that's basically our rating system. So Sam, what would you rate the Travelling Wilburys Volume 1 by the Travelling Wilburys?
I think, let me make sure that's not the correct text. Let me fix this real quick. I think I'm going to give it a like new.
Okay.
Maybe even a high like new. I have listened to this album on repeat for most of the past week, and even the week before. It's really good. Initially, End of the Line was my kind of rock. That was the one like, this is the best song in the album. And I don't know what happened. Sometime in the past week, Heading for the Light just came on, and I was like, this is actually way better than I initially thought for some reason. And have been listening to the album, skipping Congratulations every time, ever since. Now, I am quite biased, as I'm a bit of a Jeff Lynne fanboy. And there's some heavy Jeff Lynne inspiration in this one, but I think probably my favorite parts of the album are when George Harrison is singing.
Yes.
Which,
hard agree.
Sadly, in the second album, he doesn't sing as much. But thankfully, Bob Dylan was on tour, so he didn't record as much. So it was mainly Petty and Lynn. I think I need to listen to that album again. But yeah, it's a good album. I would recommend it, although a lot of people probably wouldn't like it, is my bet. What about you, Coop? What do you think?
I'd say that I'm going to be less generous than you. I'm going to give it like a fixer-upper, maybe even a low fixer-upper. Maybe I went to this album with too high of expectations, given the talent behind it. All right, these are some legendary names in the industry. And there's a good couple songs, but nothing like maybe Heading for the Line or like ones I'm like, oh yeah. But the rest of them are either kind of boring or like playing it safe or like just actively bleh. Right? So, it's like 2 good songs on like a 10-song album. Other songs aren't like, there's no like terrible song on here. But just with all the talent behind it, I was kind of hoping for something more, something a little more ascended. Obviously from what you've told us, Sam, it's more of like just a bunch of guys getting together to have fun. So maybe I shouldn't have expected, Sgt. Pepper's or something, or like, a tight ELO project.
Yeah.
But, just, kind of wish they'd brought some more to it. Maybe a little less Dylan.
Yeah. I went into it with, this is a bunch of the top of the top forming a garage band, right?
Yeah. I can understand that, where it's supposed to be a little more loose and casual. But I don't think that made it better music. It was probably more fun to make for them, but just as a listening experience, I was like, I could kind of take it or leave it. There's a novelty to it that, all these big talents got together and made an album together, but songs are mostly middling for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's worth checking out if you're a fan of any of these artists.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's an interesting case study of just like them just kind of getting together and kind of playing in each other's sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of worth it for the novelty there, but like outside of that like perspective, it's not too much is going on.
Yeah, it is a bit novelty, and that's maybe why I like it so much, is because I enjoy novelty albums. Like some freak. Anyway, that was
Music degenerate.
The Traveling
You are
Wilburys.
the monkey man, Sam.
No, I'm not. Don't compare me to that. That was the Travelling Wilburys Volume 1 by the Travelling Wilburys. And rolling over now to the Spare Tire, which is basically whatever else we've been listening to this week. And I've been listening to the Travelling Wilburys Volume 1 by the... No. I listened to a little bit of Armchair Theater, I guess, but that's about it. I've mainly been listening to this. And I was home for quite a lot of the week, so I don't listen to a lot of music when I'm home.
Yeah, I didn't listen to a super large amount of music this week either. I was mostly watching the awesome Games Done Quick speedruns, which if you don't know about them, you should totally check them out. I listened to a little bit of Paul McCartney, his solo album McCartney, that was released right after the Beatles broke up, which was pretty good. Nothing mind blowing, but I thought it was pretty nice. But beyond that, no, not too much new music in the fold this week, honestly.
Yeah, I was teleworking, so it was mainly Twitch streams here as well.
But yeah, so nothing, not too many spare tires this week.
Mm-mm. Anyway, thank you all for listening. That was the Audio Shop podcast for this week. If you've liked what you've heard, for some unknown reason, I can't imagine why you would, there's a little button down below of Jeff Lynn's face. You click that and take it over to our YouTube, where we have all the past episodes. A nice little playlist too, starting from episode 1, which will probably make you shut it down faster than anything else. And then,
wait till like episode 10 or something before you really get into it.
Maybe even further. The early ones were kind of rough. And then there's a little box on Twitch as well where you can enter a album suggestion. There's quite a lot in there. We'll get to them eventually, slowly but surely. We might also accidentally listen to the wrong album, like we did with Bruce Springsteen.
It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah,
it keeps you on your toes.
What about Twitter, Coop?
Oh yeah, and you can also follow us at AudioShop14 on Twitter. We'll post the album we're going to be listening to the next week. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. That's basically set in stone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So follow us on that if you want to know what we'll be listening to next.
Yeah, and if you're that goes for if you're listening on YouTube now too, and you can hop on over to the Twitch, and we try and keep up with the chat as we go. If anyone ever types anything, this week it was just memes of my face mostly. But yeah, that's that. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
I think Cooper, it's time. I'm gonna retire the nasally "see you later" shoppies. It's
really.
I think it's time. See you later, shoppies. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
See you.
Scared me.